Hi everyone, it's Nicole Moore, low carb dietitian here again. So I'm popping back in because I wanted to talk to you about a topic that's been coming up, I guess, recently, and that is how to manage winter. Because in winter, the average person does put on about 3 kilos, and we really don't want to do that. And for a lot of my clients who have already sort of started the low carb journey and have lost a lot of weight, they notice the cold a lot more because technically they're not wearing a fat jacket anymore. But even if we haven't started the journey yet, we still notice the cold weather, and that makes us hungry. You know, you come home after work and you're completely starving because you're freezing cold, and when we eat, it produces heat from the chemical breakdown of food, and we get this production of ATP energy, which is what our bodies need to function. So when we eat, we sort of warm up and then we feel satisfied. The problem in winter, as we all know, is what are we craving? We're craving that bread roll, we're craving those hearty stews with potatoes and pasta. So we're really wanting warm food. So a lot of my clients are asking, what sort of tips can I do? I don't want to gain the average 3 kilos and I don't want to be hungry. Well, we know the great news when you're on low carb is that you technically find a reduction in hunger anyway. So that's a tick, right? When you're on low carb, you reduce the amount of glucose going in and sugar into the body, and this lowers the amount of insulin. And a lot of people who are struggling with their weight have insulin resistance, and as we know, insulin resistance is sort of that root cause of obesity, because in production in excess, which has been contributed from a variety of factors, whether it be lifestyle, eating too much carbohydrate and sugar, and eating a low-fat diet, but it can also be genetics and environmental triggers as well that create insulin resistance. And that impacts our ghrelin and leptin, which are our hunger and satiety hormones, and they get unbalanced. So when you've got insulin resistance, it drives this sort of hunger all the time. You feel sort of hungry every, couple of hours. When you do low carb, this ghrelin leptin stability, I guess, stabilizes it. It gets more stable and we feel fuller for longer. We don't feel as hungry, and so many clients who come in on low carb express that. So that's a bonus in itself, but when it gets cold, we're still getting hungrier. So I guess you've got to really make sure in winter that your low carb life is, transitioned into sort of a more warmer program. If you're having Greek yogurt and nuts for breakfast, and you're snacking on sort of almonds over the day, and then you're having a tuna salad at lunch, and then you're having some salmon steaks and baby spinach at dinner, and snacking on some Greek yogurt in the evening, you can find that you're having cold foods, and technically you're going to feel colder and you're going to feel hungrier. So if you kind of trick your body into being warm with a few strategies, you can actually help go through winter easier. So I guess one of my strategies is put back that fat jacket, but not with fat, with clothes. Be ready if you have lost some weight already that you're going to need to rug up a little bit more so that you can actually feel warmer, and this will also sort of stop your body looking for more food to create that heat. The other thing is make sure you've got a lot of hot drinks on hand. Particularly in winter, it's harder to drink cold water anyway. So lots of herbal teas, lots of stock cubes in water, or some awesome bone broth, which is high in collagen and good for the gut. And just sort of sipping on those hot drinks, black coffee, black tea, just sipping on hot drinks all day will just sort of, again, keep your body warm, and that'll help stop those real big hunger pangs and stop you from getting freezing cold and then wanting to eat more food when technically you might just be cold. So hot drinks, wear extra layers of clothing, and make sure you transition your menu into a warm winter menu. So have, on a low carb plan, some scrambled eggs with some warmed baby spinach, and if you don't have a lot of time, just take some boiled eggs to work, pop them in a lunch bento box so they stay warm, and take those hot boiled eggs with some sea salt for breakfast. Make yourself a nice sort of frittata without the potato, of course, with lots of vegetables and eggs, and maybe a little bit of bacon in there, and have that for lunch, or leftover stews from the night before with lots of steamed broccoli. Use your low carb breads that are out there, or the 85% low carb breads, or make yourself a nice sort of almond bread, and have hot toasted bread at lunch with some melted cheese and tuna and some baby spinach, or make a toasted sandwich with low carb bread. Or, again, take a soup. So making a soup with lots of above ground vegetables, because we know above ground vegetables don't have a lot of starch in, they're mainly fiber. So lots of above ground vegetables in a big pot of lots of chicken stock. Maybe you make it from scratch, amazing, with some chicken carcasses, and put lots of above ground veggies in there, and then throw, a chicken breast in there, or 3 or 4 chicken breasts if you're making it for more than sort of one meal. And then you can sort of munch on a nice big bowl of soup with lots of above ground veggies to chew on, and lots of beautiful, soft chicken in there to get up, and keep up your protein. Maybe you're making a vegetable soup, with above ground veggies again to keep it low carb. Maybe it's some cauliflower and leek with some bacon stock. Maybe do some pumpkin with some cauliflower so you keep the carbohydrate down. And then you've got this beautiful thick soup that you can then, sip down with, some low carb keto seed crackers and smoked salmon and cucumber, some cream cheese and tuna and avocado, but you have the hot soup on the side. And as I mentioned, taking stews, which, brings us into dinner. So dinner is fantastic to do lots of slow cooker meals with lots of cheap cuts of meat, even if you're on a bit of a budget, and slow cook them all day, and put lots of, put some onion in it and put some above ground veggies in it. And then when it comes out, it's sort of nice and stewy. And a lot of the above ground veggies like the cauliflower and broccoli are broken down. So you've got the sauce of the vegetables and the flavors of the meat, and then serve that in a big hearty bowl with, maybe some low carb, 85% low carb toasted bread. Maybe you're going to serve it with some low carb konjac noodles. Maybe you're going to do it with some awesome cauliflower mash, so it feels like mashed potatoes. Maybe you're going to do it on some cauliflower or broccoli rice. And maybe you're just going to, like I do to be efficient, is just steam up a stack of frozen or, raw broccoli and steam it all up, and cauliflower, and just serve your stew on top of that. And then take your leftovers for lunch. You're cooking, bulk, and then you've got, lunches and dinners with stews and cauli mash and steamed veggies. And, that hot stew, throw some chilies in it, keep your body warm. And then you still might snack on things like nuts. Maybe you'll make yourself a low carb hot chocolate, almond milk, cacao powder, or coconut milk, and a little bit of monk fruit to give you some sweetness. You can get some sugar-free cocoa powders and hot chocolates out there as well. And you can make yourself a hot chocolate, snack on some almonds still, maybe a nice keto cracker with some hard cheese and some broth on the side. So if you keep it warm, you can really create amazing food still, but keep it hot, and you'll keep your body warm, and you won't get tricked into wanting to crave those foods, those stodgy foods that are gonna, give you a lot of carbohydrate and give you a lot of glucose in your blood. And if you're trying to lose weight and you have metabolic syndrome and elevated insulin, and you have pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes or chronic disease, which is driven by insulin resistance, that insulin resistance is made worse by just loading up with too much food that's going to release a lot of sugar in the blood. So, we want to keep it low carb. We want to create meals that are, the simple equation is protein, good quality protein, meat, chicken, fish, and eggs, combined with some healthy fats like coconut oil or butter or avocado and olive oil, plus lots of above ground green leafy veggies. And that's the magic formula that gives us a low carb diet. You've got to just transition it into warm ideas. So that are the tips, I guess I'm giving all of my clients at the moment to help them get ready for that winter and not get caught in that carb kind of binging trap and come out of winter with 3 or 4 kilos on them. The pants are, tight now because they've been eating lots of bread and pasta and rice because they've just been hungry. So if you get yourself ready, you can easily follow a low carb life in winter, and you can, keep the weight you've already lost off, or you can even start your low carb life now. Get through winter and not put on the average 3 and actually lose 3 to 5 kilos. So when you come into summer, you're ready to rock and roll. So that is my low carb tips for winter. Again, my name is Nicole Moore. I'm a low carb dietitian, and I hope that gives you some hints and tips for winter. If you need more ideas, please look us up. And we can certainly help you at Low Carb Keto Health Clinic to help you reverse chronic disease and get you onto a pathway of wellness and get that weight down. Thanks for listening, guys, and I look forward to giving you some more tips again soon. Bye for now.